Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for September 17th. So, yay California, you kept Gavin in the governor's chair and rejected kind of crazy. So, good on you. So, speaking of the kind of crazy, today I want to take a look at actually two people that I don't know if I've read on, or I don't believe I've even read on them in depth. I might have at some point looked at Stephen Miller, but I don't know, or if I have, it was a long time ago that I looked at Bannon. So I want to look at both of the Stevens, and then to just cleanse the palate before the weekend, I'm going to look at Joe Biden and see how he's doing. I did two sort of housekeeping announcements. To my new subscribers, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy being part of the Soulprint family. It's really wonderful, all of the continued support and encouragement I get, and it is very, very much appreciated. Secondly, I have been asked over the few years that I've been doing this, why I have never commercialized my channel. And my answer was always the same, because as far as the Intuitive Tarot channel, I felt that I needed to do it because the United States was sort of in the middle of such extreme chaos, and that if I could do or say anything that would help reassure people or comfort people, then that was what I was going to do. But it was never, ever intended to be monetized. It was just a personal choice I made, and that was that. I just wasn't going to do it. And I still haven't done it. But what has happened is that YouTube has changed the terms of the contract, and their contract now basically says, with or without your permission, we can, plug commercials into your videos. So for those of you out there who, don't pay for the premium service so you don't have to see the commercials, which I think is like kind of nervy, but anyways, please feel free to click off or skip that commercial as soon as you can. I'm not getting any money for it, and it's not. I just don't like the fact that they just sort of said we can do this. It's their platform, and of course they can. But so any of you who think I've monetized the channel, I have not. Frankly, whatever blessings and abundance and goodness I get, they come from private readings, and I intend to keep it that way. So, speaking of which, if anybody's looking for a private reading, if you go into the drop box below, you will see that there's an email address, soulprint888@gmail.com. Just send me a quick email asking for reading information, and I will fire it out to you. And right now, I am booking the beginning of October. All right. I have one of my handy-dandy wands here. This beautiful piece was made by, White Dragon, and I think I'm going to get it right. I think his Etsy store is called Aquarius Age Treasures, maybe. If you put in Aquarius and Age, I think you'll probably pull it. So, Paul, thank you very much for this one. I'm keeping this one close by just simply for protection, given some of the subjects I'm reading on. I do have my pendulum here in case I'm looking for some sort of a yes/no question answer. All right, enough of that nonsense. Come on down. I have a question. Okay, we're going to start with, I think, Steve Bannon. So part of what's inspiring this is that Bob Woodward book that is coming out, I think, on the 21st or something. There was a little excerpt that I saw from it, and it was talking about how in the morning after the election, Trump was just confused as to how he could have lost, but he understood that he had lost. But then there were insiders and people around him who encouraged him to push back and to fight. And that is where this whole scenario kind of started. And when I heard that, my immediate thing was, well, I wonder how much of a role both of those Steve guys played, because they, of course, have agendas that are very separate from Trump's. Trump is just, a power-driven, narcissistic child. But they're not. They have agendas, and they use Trump like a tool. And so I want to take a look at those. We're going to start with Steve Bannon. Okay, and just for anybody who's going to ask me, every time I wear this ring, I at least get 1 or 2 comments asking what it is. Just so you know, it is a green amethyst. It's a very soft green, and it has little diamond swirlies top and bottom, and it's a lovely piece. It's one of my favorites. All right, let's take a look at Steve Bannon, shall we? Tell me about Steve Bannon. Tell me about Steve Bannon. Tell me about Steve Bannon. Now, I know that Trump pardoned him when he had gotten arrested or taken into custody or whatever that was from that boat. But let's see what's going on with him now. Because it's kind of like when you have young toddlers in the house, and when it goes quiet, that's when you actually really start to worry, right? So here we go. Yeah. Okay, so this is the thing, right? He recognizes that on a really basic level, Trump isn't really that bright. And Trump can be motivated simply by being told that, this is going to make him look strong, or, people are going to really love this. And he just follows blindly. He just does. It's just what he is and how he's made up. And they know that if they actually keep him in the dark about most stuff, that's okay, because this is a person who has like zero curiosity about life, about anything really that doesn't strictly conform to him and what he wants and what he desires, and how he wants to be presented or reacted to. So that's part of the game that Bannon played with him. And like when he set up that war office very early on in the Trump presidency, I mean, that was a clear indicator who was running what. And Bannon has always had his own agenda, and there is nothing temperate about it. Okay, he wants to stir up as much trouble, frankly, is as necessary, because he is really interested in segregation. Honestly, that's the word that comes to mind. Okay, he is really interested in keeping the United States, white European descent, and in some ways, it's even more narrow than that. I think it's like British, Scottish, Irish, right? And that's not what the United States is. That's not what Canada is. That's not what Australia is. But they just have it in their head, and so that is really the background or his agenda. And he really wants people just sort of removed, and not only not come in, but he kind of wants the ones that are here to get gone too. And so one of the ways he figures he can do that is sort of by creating a lot of racial tension and animosity. He is perfectly happy to create a civil war in the States because it will accommodate his needs. And some of his needs are money. He is just driven by finances, by security, by choice. He wants to have all the pretty and all the flashy. But these days, however, it appears that he is a little bit concerned. And part of what's concerning him is that it feels like he's actually not really sure how to move his message forward at this point in time. So, in order to wage, I guess, a war, you need a lot of willing soldiers, okay? And for him, willing soldiers are those people who comply, who follow. And he has been able to identify them by the number of people who follow Trump's lead without ever taking the time to think for themselves. to investigate the information they're getting, to in any way see if what is being said is even logical or rational, never mind possible. Okay, so what you have is a country where you had 30 or 35% of people who did not understand the Constitution well enough to think that the election results could just simply be overturned because somebody wanted them to be. That a president could just be removed because somebody wanted it to happen. And had they taken the time to just read basic information about how that whole electing a president works, they would have known that that is absolutely ridiculous. And what they were looking for to happen was not going to happen. But no, they really believed that something, was, on Inauguration Day, Trump was going to, I don't know, descend from some helicopter out of the sky and, create this bloody bloodbath and, be sort of, not even because he would have still actually been in office, just kept in office. So what Bannon did was he found out that there was a segment of the population that really, really could be simply manipulated into following. But what he's seeing is that what he's getting is the really hardcore, Proud Boy type groups, okay? So you've got the anti-vaxxers in there, you've got the white supremacists in there, et cetera, these true patriots. So at some point, actually, he's starting to realize that in many ways, these people, while they need a leader, they actually can really get out of control. In some ways, they're really not controllable. And so this is creating a kind of a push and pull in him because he wants to keep that momentum going because it serves his purpose. But there is times when he watches what's going on and he really realizes that these people are incredibly extreme. And listen, he's not opposed to extreme. He's not opposed to violence. He's not opposed to it. But what he can't sort of figure out right now is how he can sort of be the leader, how he can harness all of these groups and sort of be their de facto leader. And so that's it feels like that's sort of the energy of where he is right now. There's definitely sort of a pause that has gone on, and he's doing a lot of assessing. He's trying to figure out what his next move should be, how to make that work. The Four of Swords is interesting because it's definitely reflective of a pause, but I'm also getting the fact that there may really be some health concerns with him. So, again, he is not adverse to stealing whatever he needs to steal, and because he just has this crazy agenda, and it is really for a white Anglo-Saxon America. And one of the things that he's figured out is that by and large, he's actually a really good manipulator. Now, the problem is that slowly but surely, things have been kind of not working for him quite as well as he hoped. I mean, there was the whole monastery thing in Italy that he was going to turn into some big training center. Well, he got kicked out of that. I think it was for non-payment of rent. I'm not exactly sure, but I know he was told to leave. You had, and something as simple as what happened in California a couple of days ago is you can see that there's this hardening base that will not budge, but by and large, the Republican Party and those extremists are not influencing a broader circle of Americans. In fact, their influence is shrinking more and more, and those independents who maybe could have gone one way or the other are definitely going towards the Democrats because, they have the ability to look at things and say, this is smart, this is not smart, this is public health, this is not politics, or whatever it is. So he's sort of having a bumpy ride right now, I guess you could say. He's not done though. You're going to hear from him. And he's going to be hard at work on the next project. And I don't watch any of the right wing crazy. So I don't know if he's on Fox. I don't know if he's on that News Now or the One America News or whatever it is. But there's something going on behind the scenes. But it also feels as if he feels like he doesn't have a clear path forward. It feels like it's like he knows what he wants. He just can't figure out how to sort of launch the next thing so that he can build momentum. But he's determined to be a victor. He is. And again, you got to understand, he is motivated by money. It's not that he doesn't have really, really right-wing or white supremacist tendencies, because he does, but by and large, he's motivated by money. He has just this incredible need to be secure financially. He also has an incredible need to depart of that inner circle, that inner sanctum, part of the power brokers. And I got to tell you, energetically, I think that even he did not realize what a dim light bulb Trump was. He knew he could be manipulated, but I think to some degree he didn't actually know how unhinged he could become and how actually out of control he could become. See, that was the mistake a lot of these people made with him. They thought, well, he's so pliable, right? You can get him to believe whatever you say because he doesn't question anything. But they didn't, I think, realize the degree to which he is able to like dig in and just stay and become angrier and angrier and more vengeful and more vengeful. So it feels like when Trump started to spin out of control, in some ways, a lot of the people around him were like, wow, we actually really don't know how to control this situation or this person. Bannon definitely has stuff going on overseas, and there's news coming, I think, that he's not going to like, and I think that there are some secrets that are going to be revealed. I'm kind of looking to see if there is any, justice coming his way. But what we definitely have is the devil, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. So these are not good. We also have, loss and walking away. So I don't know. Oh, and judgment. Boy, oh boy, when it rains, it pours, eh? So I can't, there aren't cards showing me it. I have to tell you, energetically, I feel as if even though he was pardoned for federal crimes by Trump, I kind of feel like, oh, look, and death was sitting there. I kind of feel like there may be investigations going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, and I think maybe in some cases even he doesn't know about. But I don't think that he is done with the law. I really don't. Oh, look, interesting, right? Interesting cut. So we have justice on one hand, and then we have, the strong female legal person. So, district attorney, lawyer, whatever it is. So there's definitely more going on kind of under the hood of that car with Steve Bannon than it is visible right now. I'll say it that way. All right. Now, since we're in the dark, let's plunge just a little bit darker and deeper and take a look at Stephen Miller. So Stephen Miller continues to be a very, very tight person with Trump and I was going to say in the family, but even to some degree, some of them are pulling away and going, okay, I need to just at least create a little bit of separation here because this situation is not going to end well. Now, I don't know that that means they're actually going to try to completely separate themselves, but it feels like at least for a couple of the Trump kids, there's at least some recognition of the fact that things are going from bad to worse. So let's take a look at Stephen Miller and what his story is and what he's out to get or accomplish. And this is the thing. I think if you had to put them on a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being the most extreme, in terms of white supremacist beliefs, Stephen Miller would be right up there in the 8s, 9s, 10s. And Steve Bannon, it feels like he is more at the 7, 8. Okay, so it's there, but in some ways, because what motivates him also has to do with his own money, his own security, his own need to be, special and important. He sort of, in some ways, latches on to whatever is going to sell. So let's take a look at Stephen Miller, shall we, and see what we can see about him. Tell me about Stephen Miller. Tell me about Stephen Miller. Tell me about Stephen Miller. So he's another one. He is perfectly happy scorching everything to get what he wants. And in fact, he really in some ways believes that that's the best way to go about it, is you just sort of, take the law into your own hands. You just dominate, you push and you push until a situation becomes so toxic or so violent that things literally start cracking apart. But the thing is, and listen, he will look away from the law, from norms, from traditions. They mean nothing to him. And he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. And part of what makes him, I almost want to say in some ways, more dangerous is, unlike Steve Bannon, he doesn't really have this intense desire to be front and center. He really likes to play the role of that behind the scenes person, and he sees himself as very mysterious. Like, people don't really know what I'm all about, and people don't really see me clearly, and I'm way more, intelligent, I'm way more suave, I'm way more, crafty than people realize. And so that's the little delusion that he lives with. But he really is, he is like that person who will just dig and dig and dig. Inch by inch by inch, they move forward towards their goal, and not a lot distracts them. Failure doesn't distract them. A loss of momentum doesn't distract them. He just keeps pushing, because in a lot of ways he has figured out that it really, water erodes, right? It just does. And he knows that if he just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, he is going to be able to wear down some of the resistance that he meets, and just continue to push forward. And literally, they're showing me a picture of, water hitting rocks, like the ocean hitting the rocks. And just, it takes time, but eventually those rocks start to erode and water finds its way in. So that's sort of that mentality that he's dealing with. Now, you have the Empress sitting here with the 8 of Pentacles. And so really, this is somebody who is prepared to work very, very hard to accomplish his goal. And the Empress sitting here is a little concerning, because he seems to have the ability, I don't know that he has the resources, but he has the ability to bring those resources forward to sort of help him in this sort of endeavor of his, or this project of his. The thing is that he's playing with people who don't necessarily completely agree with his agenda, but they see him as a tool. And it's the interesting thing. It's like everybody is using everybody else for something different than what it looks like on the surface. So I see for a while him, honestly, I'm sorry, but continuing to get some support for his behind the scenes maneuvering. And part of that is because he is huge in this whole Trump's going to run again. Trump's going to win the presidency. He's going to take back the White House. It's not happening. There's just not a way in heck it's going to happen. But this is part of the narrative that he is selling because it's getting him what he needs and wants. And it's keeping Trump like viable and in his corner. And, he is viewed as one of the good guys, one of the guys who gets it, one of the guy who knows this thing was stolen from me. So there's that. But unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and they often come to an end with exposure. And that appears to be something that he can look forward to happening in the future. There's definitely going to be some information that comes out that is going to almost like crack open something. And this is a little bit from the past, but it's not so far in the past that it's, there's a statute of limitations that has run out, right? This is more about, I want to say something in the last 2 to 5 years that has gone on that it's going to sort of come back and bite him in the butt a little bit. And he's not seeing it. He thinks he's covered his, he thinks he's covered it all up and he is safe, but he's actually not. And more than that is he has an overinflated sense of himself and an overinflated sense of what he can accomplish and what he can do and how powerful he is. Because you know what? This is the thing. The King of Mar-a-Lago is eroding. He is losing power. He's going to end up with a hardcore group of about 25 to 30% of the American people who are kind of the most extreme, kind of the crazies, the ones who just blindly follow. But 25% or 30% of 100% is really not very big. And that is going to shrink and stay solid, okay? Where he's not building out. I mean, this was part of, what everybody was talking about during the election is he's got this base and they're not moving, but he's not doing anything to attract more people. And that's exactly the same situation now. But for some reason, Stephen Miller seems to think that that's still workable somehow. Almost like as if it sort of feels like, what is that? David and Goliath? No, Goliath. Yeah. The little guy can just topple this. The little guys can win. And yeah, I don't really actually seeing that happening. I don't. But it looks very much as if there's going to be information that comes out about him, and it's going to be strong. Whatever the information is, it's going to end up turning into something rock solid that can be used. It has to do with an exchange of money. It has to do where revenue comes in or favors come in. But it's getting ready to crash. And, this is going to be another one where it's like follow the money. He's going to be in a position where he has to defend himself. And I don't see him being able to do it very well. He's going to try using excuses and justifications, but ultimately judgment comes for him. And you've got the Three of Pentacles here. So that, of course, is talking about, dark money with the help of friends, things that went on behind the scene. So that's interesting. So in some way, it looks like just because Bannon and Miller are sort of maybe off the public radar, that they're still busy behind the scenes, but they are not being like ignored. Okay, like it's not like these government agencies, whether it be the FBI or Homeland Security, whoever it is, or even local or state, enforcement. Just because it's quiet, it doesn't mean that they have gone under the radar. They have not. And the situation is going to continue to unfold. All right, let's take a look at Joe. Let's see how Uncle Joe's doing. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's take a look at Joe Biden. Let's see how he's doing. You know, if you can extrapolate from the California election, it certainly looks that his tougher policies in terms of fighting COVID are what most people want and are, working. People are saying, and this is the thing, it's gone on for so long, right? That more and more, for a long time there was a lot of compassion, right? Oh, well, the vaccine wasn't available, or, well, they don't understand it, or they couldn't access it, whatever. And now more and more you're hearing things like, well, if they don't want to take the vaccine, then they shouldn't come to the hospitals when they're sick. So it's becoming a little bit more like militant. And to some degree, you can really understand, people's frustration with kind of what's going on. Alberta has just gone back down into a serious kind of hardcore lockdown, and the printable passports, vaccine passports, are going to be available for us on Sunday, because at this point you pretty much have to show them to walk through a door. But again, we're the lowest vaccinated province, aside from Saskatchewan, I think, in the country, and we have the most cases, or the second most cases. It's embarrassing and it's appalling. So you kind of get where, and the premier here is just toast. Okay, he is toast, because people are getting frustrated. They're getting fed up. It's like, do what needs to be done to bring this thing under control. And certainly Biden looks like he has that front and center, but he it's not his only goal. It's not the only thing on the agenda. And so let's take a look and see how he is doing. And I'm going to use his title as I ask this question, because that's what I want to focus on. So, how is President Biden doing? How is President Biden doing? How is President Biden doing? Things are moving. So, sometimes he has trouble kind of accepting the degree to which things have deteriorated in the country and how unbelievably partisan things have become. And even those people who he worked with, who were colleagues for years and years and years, he's sort of having a hard time looking at them and realizing just how political they have become and how blatantly compliant they become in the face of insanity. And so that troubles him, and it troubles him a lot, because, a lot of what he wants to accomplish, he really believed that he could at least get some people across the aisle. And that's simply not happening, because all of these people are like beholden to Trump, who is still in the shadows, or maybe not so much in the shadows, running the GOP. But this is about Biden, so let's stay focused. He is going to continue to have messages, to communicate, to give press conferences. He is going to continue to get his message out. He is very on track, I guess is how I want to say it. In some ways, he is like really, really laser focused. Now, understand from astrologer type people that Joe Biden is a Scorpio. And for any of you who know Scorpios, they can get super focused on something. It's like they look at it like with laser vision, and they're not too easily pushed off their pathway. And that's where he is right now. He's very, very focused on what needs to get done and how he needs to get it done. And it really feels as if in a lot of ways, he's like, enough is enough. These people are not going to bring me down. I'm really sick and tired of this crap that's going on, particularly with the COVID and the resistance to the vaccinations. He's getting really sick of it. And don't be surprised if somewhere down the line he hardens even more and puts more sort of policies or mandates in place, because he's really getting to the point where this is a war that he should have been able to win. And instead of winning it, you have that small percentage of the country who is just out to burn everything down, all in the name of what? Personal freedom? But don't concern yourself. His star continues to shine bright, and it is going to shine bright throughout his presidency. He very clearly and very definitely sort of has a mission. He has a goal. He has an agenda. And this is destined. This is karmic. And this is something that he is doing with his whole body and soul and intellect and heart. He is 100% dedicated to righting the country, to getting it stabilized and moving forward. And that is very much his agenda. And that really does look like he is going to continue to do that. Now, sure, is there frustration because you have this right-wing group and they will not budge? And no matter how mercenary they appear, no matter how greedy or how selfish, they just keep holding firm. And again, there is that sense of, I'm really getting tired of this and we need to push ahead and we're going to find ways to maneuver around them. Okay, there's a lot of assessing going on right now in the White House and frankly in other departments, in the Department of Justice, in Homeland Security, whatever it is. There's a lot of stuff going through. And I also just want to say, Merrick Garland, he is being a little bit, how can I say it? Hamstrung. He's just been he's being slowed down by his own desire to appear unbelievably balanced and fair. He doesn't want to do anything that makes it look like he's sort of going after certain groups or people or whatever. And he's going to slowly start getting the message, and I'm not sure where the message is coming from, but he's going to start getting the message that you need to get moving, right? Like you need to push harder and get some stuff done. Enough is sort of enough. And there just simply needs to be, I guess I want to say almost like more strategies put into place. But again, he's going to get there, all right? And you know what? Listen, maybe he really would have made a better, Supreme Court justice as opposed to the Attorney General of the United States. But what you want is somebody who really, really appears completely cut off from the president, from the White House. You want somebody who really does appear to be acting absolutely 100% independently. Now, as far as this General Milley thing that's just erupted, I heard somebody on TV, I think it was this morning, saying something like, every time a Bob Woodward book comes out, people in the White House get nervous, right? Because he doesn't pull any punches, and frankly, he seems to find tidbits of information that nobody else can find. So, honestly, Biden could have used, without this thing with Milley and Trump and all of that, not coming out right now, because it's providing a really good distraction, if you will, for the GOP. It's sort of stunting Biden's agenda and movement forward. But again, don't worry, because he has the ability to communicate and clarify his message And his message is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. This whole Millie thing is a bit of a setback, but it is not anything that he needs to be really concerned about. You can tell he's frustrated by it. But the other side of it is he's, kind of relieved to know that something was going on behind the scenes that would have protected the country. He's really good at being that sort of protector, right? He is like the Band-Aid for the country. He is able to calm the fears. He is able to put forth clear and concise information. And that ultimately is going to really prove pivotal. Now, those of you who are seeing the Death card and the Wheel of Fortune side by side, like, don't freak out, okay? Because the world is coming to balance and to clarify. So what this is talking about is there is a real agenda, if you will, to find ways to kind of curb and pull power from not only those sort of governors who are getting their information from, I don't know, maybe the Martians or Pluto, but they're certainly not dealing with any kind of realistic objectivity of what is actually going on in the world. So there is a move to sort of block, and it looks as if at some point it may be a little slow to get off the ground, and whether this is legal means, whatever it is, but it feels like they're actually going to be able to turn the corner on this, because this is going to create a transformation. He is going to be able to create some sort of a move forward that creates a transformation that allows sort of some of the real unrest to sort of settle. It's not going to go away. It never does. But the fact that there is a really strong percentage of the country that really is behind him and behind his agenda, I think you're going to see him continuing to go from strength to strength. And you know what? Listen, he doesn't care about being attacked. He doesn't care about sort of being put on the defense. He feels like that's one of the things his job demands. And he is so determined to bring back at least something that is recognizable as a democratic government in the United States. He needs to guard his health. I don't see anything serious, but I have said this before and I'll say it again. This term as president is going to really deplete his energy. And I said right from the beginning that he's going to be a one-term president, followed by another Democratic president, okay? But he's exhausted right now. He's really tired, and he doesn't feel that he can do anything but continue to push ahead, get the White House righted, and get justice barreling down the pike. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Okay, so there we have it. I hope you have found that interesting. I hope you got some good information from it. I thank you ever so much again for all of the support, the thumbs up, the new subscribers, all of it. It's brilliant, and I thank you. And to each and every one of you, my new subscribers and my established ones, I adore you. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.